Hey, Jackpot, where's that fucking retard that wears that Clem Sucks hat been at? You know what I'm talking about? That dummy? Where's he been at? I guess it's just up to you now to represent South Carolina on YouTube, which I'm not mad at. Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Great ACC show planned for you. Rivalry week, and it's going to be a good one. I can't really remember a time where this weekend had so many implications as far as the postseason goes. Of course, it's the first year of the 12-team playoff, so that's why. But some big games. The latest CFP ranking show is supposed to come on somewhere around 8 o'clock. Well, after this Memphis and Michigan State bouncy ball game is when it'll come on. It's about to go to halftime in that, so it'll probably be well after 8 o'clock whenever that happens. It'll be interesting to see where both Clemson and South Carolina are ranked. Well, especially South Carolina. I think it matters more for them. Because they still do have a chance. With a road win against Clemson, South Carolina still has a chance to make the playoffs, even with 3 losses. They need a little bit of help, I think. They need maybe Tennessee to lose, maybe, I don't know, maybe Texas, Notre Dame, something like that. But it's still possible. Hey, Wahoo Brad, you going to take out the trash this weekend, buddy? The trash that is the Virginia Tech Hokies? I'm pulling for you. Matter of fact, I'm picking you. I think Virginia can beat Virginia Tech, and I think they will. All right, the show starts in about 60 seconds. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. You guys know YouTube really cares about that, even if your boy does not, which I don't, but they do, and I'm on YouTube, so they make the rules, not me. I know that, Alex. I know. Let's make it 3 times then, right? It's been a crazy year. Crazy shit's happening. Shout out to Hamp Redmond, the newest join member of the Pigskin Pete YouTube channel. Appreciate you, buddy. All right, let's get this thing rolling. Go ahead and turn this thing off. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the ACC show. I am your host, Pigskin Pete. My co-host is not here yet. What time is it? It's 7. He's 5 minutes late. Oh, look, speak of the devil. There he is. Well, he's here, but only in spirit, I guess. What's up, gentlemen? There he is.
He caught a ride with the graphics guy.
I was just waiting for the musical number to be done.
Oh, yeah, okay. So you're watching on YouTube then. That's what it is.
That's right.
All right. Welcome, guys. It's Rivalry Week, and we got a lot of... look, certainly Clemson and Miami both have huge games for implications of the playoffs in the ACC. But Georgia Tech also has a big game against their rival. What do you guys call it? Clean, old-fashioned hate?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Is it really clean, or is it not?
It's a dirty, sick hatred.
Yeah, I figured so. Are you going to the game?
No.
No. Is your nemesis a Macho Wreck, or is Buzzsaw's nemesis Macho Wreck going?
No, don't think so.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to Rec Talk's place to watch the game.
Oh.
Now, I heard that my prediction of Buzzsaw being a no-show was correct.
No, it wasn't.
I mean, Macho Rick put out a video looking for you.
Well, I mean, if you're getting your information from Macho Rick, then that's your issue.
You must not have seen the follow-up video where they face off in the streets of Atlanta.
I did not see the follow-up video, but I mean, I saw that it had been posted. But I assumed, like his spokesperson, he just showed up late.
The two of them walking around in those costumes downtown Atlanta is worth the price of admission. I was go ahead and tell you that right now. All the people with the cat calls at them and everything.
It's always a good time.
Yeah.
Always.
Should have hollered back at him that you're not a piece of meat.
So before we get started here, some big news in the ACC today. Our boy Mac Brown, who's 9 months pregnant, is apparently being fired from the University of North Carolina. Who saw this coming?
I saw it coming.
I'm going to be honest. I figured it would have happened a few years ago.
Yeah. But he played his cards right. As early as last week, he was talking about, I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here for, several more years or whatever. I don't know his exact words, but so he basically forced them to fire him. And they very quickly accommodated. Yeah.
I mean, it's time to move on. I mean, it's clear as day.
Well, we talked about it at the time when it happened. Like, Mac Brown should have come in, stabilized the program after the disaster that was Larry Fedora, and then hand it off to somebody else.
Yeah.
Well, you got to think, since he's been fired, how many college coaches, active college coaches, have won a national championship?
Well, as many years as there is between that, minus Saban Dabo.
No, active college coaches.
Oh, active. Oh, well, Kirby and Dabo.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think he's still acting as the coach for the last game, no?
Yeah, they're letting him finish out the year, and I mean, of course, you got to do that. I mean, there's people mad at him. Of course, Twitter's a fucking cesspool, but people mad that they fired him, saying he should be able to leave on his own terms. No, he shouldn't be. What are we talking about here? Yeah. They're terrible. They're terrible. Now the question is, who's going? We talked about this yesterday. Like, who's going to get fired? I didn't think they were going to fire him, honestly.
Really?
I didn't think they were going to.
Yeah.
So, if you look at some of the names that are coming up, a lot of them are funny. Like every coaching search, Dan Mullen, Shane Beamer, which I never could understand why anybody would make zero sense. Jamie Chadwell, Signetti from Indiana.
I would want Signetti.
Of course you would, but didn't they just give that guy like an 8-year extension or something?
Oh yeah, but if you're bossing up and taking another school's coach,
listen, nobody's paying that buyout.
No.
Yeah, right. Well, he could quit. I mean, he could just walk out, but I don't see that happening. Did you hear? I don't know if you saw my video today, Slim.
Not yet. I've had kids all day. So
Do you know who I think they? Do you know who I think they should go after?
No.
Handy Manny Diaz.
Ooh. Oh. Now, I'm not gonna lie. This is just where they stand right now. That would be a downgrade.
No,
Really?
look, no. North Carolina's
your cane shades on, man. Duke's going 8-4 this year.
Yeah, that's great. But North Carolina is a better football destination as a coach than Duke is. Yeah.
9-3. They're going 9-3. I'm sorry. They only have 3 losses.
Yeah, you should be sorry, Sea-Dog, because you know what's going to happen. Georgia Tech's going to walk down there to 101 Stanford Boulevard.
Oh, my God.
And get their asses kicked. That's
Buddy,
what's going to happen.
it's not time for that yet.
Friday. So get your outfit ready, and
this is what happens when you let down. This is what happens when you let SEC fans on.
Why? First of all, there's a lot going on in the chat that I have to address here. First of all, Co-Admitted says, why would any coach not in the group of 5 go to North Carolina? Well, ask Josh Peete, because according to Josh Peete, North Carolina is one of the best jobs in the country. That's what he said. He said, I think that people are underestimating how great of a job that is in the coaching world. Now,
yeah, well, according to Josh Peete, we didn't face DJ Lagway when we played Florida, but I distinctly remember him completing 4 passes, and one of them was to a Miami player.
I think.
Hey, look, Pete.
What?
The only funny thing is that Sea-Dog don't want to talk about Georgia and Georgia Tech.
We'll talk about Georgia and Georgia Tech.
We're not to that point yet, Colby.
Yeah, pipe down, Colby.
About the previous week's games,
okay,
and then we talk about the freaking upcoming week games. You bonehead.
All right.
If y'all had structure like that, you would have an SEC show that lasts longer than a week.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Slim gets this little nerve pinch. Jesus.
Yeah, calm down.
Slim.
Hey.
So you sit down in your fucking corner and be a good boy.
I know you're ADD, Colby. Go take an Adderall and calm down. We got one subject at a time. We're talking about North Carolina right now.
Instant gratification. That's the problem with these kids these days, man. Instant gratification.
So
is Slim sitting in the corner?
Nope.
Anyway, I think it is a good job. I think that there are other Power 5 jobs that North Carolina is better than, clearly. And I think they have more money than a lot of the to throw at a coach than a lot of other Power 4 teams do right now. But I don't really
that statement. I just disagree that Duke is one of them.
Well, if I'm Manny Diaz, North Carolina is an upgrade from Duke. In every way, football-wise. I don't care about basketball. I'm talking about football. They've got more resources and more money allocated for their football program than Duke does, and more support from their fan base too. So, and that would be great too to watch the Duke coach go to North Carolina. I mean, come on.
That would be funny. Yes.
Yeah. The other comment that I want to address is they can have Garrett Riley. I don't know what people's problem with Garrett Riley is. The Clemson people. They've got a top.
I'll criticize some of his play calling sometimes, but that's about it.
They've got a top 10 offense in the country right now. They've got a quarterback who's like third or fourth on every Heisman list that you're looking at. I mean, I don't really understand what the problem with Garrett Riley is.
And I'll tell you this much: if Clemson fired Garrett Riley and brought in a new coach, nothing would change.
Well, there is that. I don't disagree with you there.
Are they trying to make now every award in college football completely meaningless, by the way?
Every what?
Every award.
Oh.
Like, and because, I mean, we all watch a lot of college football and not just ACC. But there's a few of these finalist lists for some of these awards, like, who's smoking enough crack not to have Dylan Sampson as a finalist for the best running back in the nation? Or hang on a second, let me finish, Colby. Or who's smoking enough crack not to have Cam Ward on the list for the Maxwell Award?
Now, I agree with that one. I don't know about the running back one, but I agree with that. Yeah, Ward should be on the list. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about awards right here. Like, when's the last time Miami had an actual reward?
Our kicker won the Lou Groza Award a couple years ago.
Jesus Christ, this man's talking about a kicker.
Is that fat Cuban guy? You talking about the fat Cuban?
Asked the question, fuckstick.
Georgia Tech has won more ACC. All right, go ahead, Slim. Talk your shit.
Anyway.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, I swear.
I think Genty's going to win the Heisman.
I don't know. I actually think, no, I'd be pretty much willing to put my life savings on the line that Genty doesn't.
Yeah.
You've been saying that all year.
We're giving it to a group of 5 player.
I don't care where. I don't care if he plays it, for an FCS team. I mean, guy's going to have like 30 rushing touchdowns and over 2,500 yards rushing. He averages 100.
They're going to look at the fact that he plays in the Mountain West.
I don't think they will.
Miami's never won the ACC.
What does that have to do with the price of tea in China?
Nothing, but I just want to say the fact.
He's trying to get it in while he can.
I've been saying that for years. I don't even know what the price of tea in China is.
It's just, Colby's like everybody else. They're trying to get it out as many times as they can before they can't say it anymore. It's kind of like when 1980 went away.
Well,
I'm sorry. Don't get mad, Slim. I'm sorry.
You've got to get past Syracuse first. Did you see? I know Sea-Dog saw it because he retweeted it. Did you see your boy Fran Brown? Hey, now listen to this. The hate for Fran Brown from Sea-Dog and Rec Talk is epic. It's so epic that they are actually rooting for Miami to win the game.
Yeah. That's true.
I think that may doom me, honestly. I'm not sure if I like it.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell him what our buddy Fran said, Sea-Dog?
Yeah, Fran Brown said basically saying he doesn't understand why Miami is ranked.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. He's a total idiot.
He doesn't understand. Hold on. He doesn't understand why a one-loss Miami team in Week 14 is ranked and a 3-loss Syracuse isn't.
Yeah, and he was citing the fact that they beat Georgia Tech, who beat Miami.
He did. This guy did some origami with the fucking with the records here.
Yeah, he was trying, he was literally talking about transitive property.
Yeah, the mental gymnastics that he did to try to get Syracuse ranked was on an epic level that I've never seen before.
This guy
if he would have made the argument that he should have been ranked over Missouri, okay, that's a conversation we can have.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Missouri should be ranked.
You know what? I think he mentioned them in his little tirade.
Well, something else that's been floating around Twitter that caught a lot of people's attention. You realize Duke's resume as a 3-loss team is looking better than Alabama's right now?
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is. Well, Notre Dame's just. Did you say Notre Dame, right?
No, I said Duke.
Oh, Duke. I thought you said Notre Dame.
No. Well, there's still idiots out there hollering about Notre Dame shouldn't be in. And listen, I have no love for Notre Dame. That's a bitter old rival with Miami. I mean, Notre Dame is blowing people off the field, and it's not even close.
Yeah, anybody.
I agree. I hate Notre Dame's guts, but I agree with that.
Anybody who thinks Notre Dame isn't a playoff team just needs to go ahead and just hang it up and stop watching college football. I don't know what they're watching.
Well, that's like the people that were making arguments against Indiana. Like, I get Indiana's schedule is what it is, but what do we always say on here? All you can do with bad teams is beat them, and Indiana was winning by an average of 35 points.
And Notre Dame, like, yes, they have the terrible loss to NIU, but it's like the playoff is less exclusive. Back, last year that would have eliminated them, but the reality is now with the 12-team playoff, you're not going to get eliminated. And in a different year it might, but there's so many 2-loss teams this year. Well,
here's the thing: I don't think that NIU loss would knock them out, because we all know this, and this goes back to the BCS. A loss at the end of the season holds way more weight than a loss at the beginning.
Absolutely. If they would have lost to NIU last week instead of in week 3 or whatever it was, then they might be sort of on the bubble now. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, there is a lot of recency bias, but I get a kick out of the fact that so many people throughout the 10 years that we had the 4-team playoff were thinking that expanding it to 8, 12, or 16 was somehow going to fix everything. There would be less chaos. Right. The opposite has happened. The more you expand it, the more chaos there's going to be. Now, I'm here for it. I like the chaos. I think it's fun and certainly good for what, conversation purposes. But the idea that, if you expand it, it's just everything's going to fall into place. No. There's going to be probably, instead of 2 or 3 teams who are mad they didn't make the top 4, there's going to be 8 or 9 that are mad they didn't make the top 12.
Yeah.
So now
I want to point out too,
conference expansion is an agent of chaos that's helping that as well.
Yeah.
There was a lot. That was this past weekend, right? I'm getting these weeks run together. This past weekend was Alabama loss and
Ole Miss lost, Alabama lost, Colorado lost, A&M lost.
Hilarious because I'm all over Twitter and everything, and all I've been hearing is how all these other teams are unworthy and they need to have 6 SEC teams in because they're such deep of a conference that they all have 2 losses, but the level of play is higher in the SEC, and they need all the 2-loss SEC teams in because they're just better than everybody else. Well,
we were talking about that on the midday show. Like, Miami loses to Georgia Tech, the ACC is ass. Alabama loses to Oklahoma, the SEC is just tough.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, they can talk to their blue in the face about 5 and 6 SEC teams getting in. That's not happening. Not happening.
Like, especially this year. This year, I don't think that there is a sliver of light in between the ACC, the SEC, and the Big Ten, top to bottom.
The Big 12, if you want to poo-poo on them, they're not. I don't think they're a very good conference.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, though. No. The worst team in the Big 12 beat a middle-of-the-pack Arkansas team in the SEC. Oklahoma State is winless in the Big 12.
Man.
I'd be willing to, as far as the odds go, I don't know what the Vegas odds are right now. But if you were to go down the list of the Vegas odds of who can win the national championship, I guarantee you that whoever wins the Big 12 is at the bottom of that list.
Yeah.
I think Miami, I saw that today just scrolling on Twitter, and the only one that I remember off the top of my head is Miami, and they were at like plus 25.
I would pick any of the top 3 ACC teams, Miami, Clemson, or SMU, to beat whoever wins the Big 12. Any of them.
Yeah.
Well, here, I'll take that a step farther, and I absolutely believe this. I think anybody in the top 15 to 18 could beat anybody else.
Oh, sure, yeah. Yeah, it does depend on the matchups. I understand that, but I mean, let's just say, all right. So, who's the best 2 teams in the Big 12? Like objectively, Arizona State.
Like Arizona State and BYU.
Well, BYU's on a 2-game losing streak.
Iowa State then.
And they should probably have 3 losses. Honestly, they should have lost to Kansas. Was that Kansas State? Or whoever it was.
That was Utah.
Yeah, Utah. Thank you.
Hey, Kansas might be one of the best teams now. They've beat. This is the
3
first
ranked teams 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, it's the first time that like a losing. What was it? What was the stat? It's like the first time
with a
it ever
losing
happened.
record beat 3 ranked opponents in consecutive weeks.
Any of those top 3, Clemson, Miami, or SMU, would be favored against anybody in the Big 12. Now, it doesn't mean they would win, but they would be favored.
Sure. And I don't think anybody in the SEC would be a double-digit favorite over any of those 3.
Yeah. The ranking show comes on. Well, they said 8 o'clock, but it's not going to come on until after this basketball game's over, and the second half just started a few minutes ago. So it's probably going to be closer to 8:30 than it is 8 o'clock.
Outstanding.
Anyway, let's.
Who cares about basketball? These playoff rankings are way more important.
Yeah, I don't care about basketball. ESPN does though. There's 4 people watching Memphis play Michigan State, and they're all in some sports book somewhere. So.
Yeah, they're all sitting in Cherokee in the sports book.
All right, let's look at these games last week. Let's try to run through these games last week, and then we'll talk about. There's some really good games this week in rivalry week in the ACC. NC State at Georgia Tech, of course. Sea Dog and Buzzsaw and Rec Talk and Macho Rec were all there. Georgia Tech with a nail biter, a 1-point victory.
Dude, that game, honestly, for a 29-30 game, was pretty hard to watch.
It really was.
Are you peeing right now?
Yeah.
God, you couldn't wait to get done peeing to answer that.
Look, I'm not. We're talking about Georgia Tech. That's my cue.
Hey, don't feel bad, Pete. He decided to take a shit in the middle of Rec Talk's live stream.
Oh my God.
Look, man, nature calls. So,
Scott Van Pelt would have held his water.
yeah, I was there, and it was. I felt we had to lead the entire game until like the 4th quarter. I felt like we were going to lose the entire game. It just seemed like one of those. Oh, Rec Talk's here. He says, "Let him in."
Okay.
It just seemed like one of the we just did not have a good feeling about it. Rec Talk will tell you the same thing. You know what I mean? Yo, what's up?
Yeah, well, not only did we not have a good feeling about the game, we drank like a liter of hot chocolate, and that was a stupid ass decision. And Sea Dog ended up getting sick. And
listen, it's okay. You don't have to like sugarcoat it. Like
he had to throw up in the trough while everyone was hanging dong around him.
Hold on, you drank so much hot chocolate that you threw up?
No, Rec Talk's being nice, and he's not telling it. I'll tell it though. It's fine. Okay. I accidentally drank out of his dip cup.
What?
Yeah, it was awful, and I puked.
That's awesome.
It was bad. At least it was like mixed with Diet Coke, so. It was
God, that's even worse.
No, it wasn't. It was like if it was just straight dip, I probably would have puked on the spot. But instead, I'm gonna puke just talking about it. Okay, can we move on? Like I'm actually about to puke.
So,
That shit was gross.
not to be a Debbie Downer, but technically you guys have made out now. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you should hear the other stories. Yeah, that's pretty mild.
Sea Dog has swallowed your spit.
Yeah.
Oh my
I
god!
spit it out.
Yeah, I mean, he did. He's a spitzer.
2 nerds, 1 cup.
I'm gonna puke. I'm gonna fucking puke, dude.
I'm gonna puke too, but for
We need to
different
stop
reasons.
talking about it, dude.
God,
Oh
this
my
fucked
God.
up in the head.
Yeah, Tiger Tom. Yeah, he's cooking dinner. You guys are meant to make him throw up.
I'm actually gonna puke.
Well, I'm glad you let me on, Pete. Let's continue.
And no, I didn't puke in the trough. I got a stall.
Okay, that's good. I refuse to, but anyways, yeah. I mean, that game was crazy. It did seem like we were going to get beat the whole time, and it's not even like we did everything we could to lose it. That's kind of a cope a lot of people go with. NC State just made plays down there in the fourth quarter. I mean, they put up 20 points in the fourth, and by some miracle, Aaron Philo, put us in position to win, and we won it.
We started the game out with, both quarterbacks, Haynes King and Philo getting both getting reps.
Dude, how puckered was y'all's ass on that last field goal? He just barely missed it.
Yeah.
I thought he made it.
Well,
I thought he did it first. I mean, he literally missed it by inches.
so
We were talking about it, and we were like, look, man, I had resigned to losing, honestly. I was like, look, if they hit a 56-yarder?
58. It was a 58-yarder.
58? I was like, look, if they hit a 58-yarder, it just wasn't meant to be.
And it was weird because it kind of it knuckled kind of. And if you've gone to games, and Pete and Slim, I know you have, if you're sitting on the 50 or you're not behind the goalpost, you can't tell whether it went in or not if it's close.
No, you can't.
Yeah, you can't.
So with some of these TV angles, you can't always tell either.
Yeah, you're looking at the referees and waiting to see their signal. Yeah.
That's what we're doing. Then we got excited, but we're yelling, and I had forgot about what we talked about before. I got sick because I had drank a liter of hot chocolate, and what I didn't tell you, Sea Dog, when I got into your truck, I'm like, I might shit my pants. I swear to God.
Seems
Well, you
like
guys are a
something you would
mess.
Tell me. Why wouldn't you tell me that?
Well, because it was imminent. I didn't want to be like, hey, I'm going to shit my pants and just do it.
Dude, and we sat there for an hour trying to get out of that parking deck.
It was rough, dude.
You had to shit that whole time?
If you're having to wait to get out of a game, why not shit before you leave?
So it wasn't actually that bad when I was in your truck, but when I got out of your truck and I had to walk a little bit longer to get to my truck, I did not think I was going to make it to my truck.
Oh, he had to do the old duck walk with his
Yeah, he was doing the waddle deal. Yeah.
Hey, man, we've all been there, man. We've all been there.
Luckily, I did make it back home, but it's 20 minutes from my parking deck to my house. Yeah, it was I guess kind of like a Diddy party. Yeah.
Well, the two of you are a mess.
Good Lord.
We don't have great control of our bowels.
Clearly not.
I don't really have a control of much of anything.
So let me ask you a question about this 2-quarterback system you guys got going on now. Are you a fan of it or not?
I mean, it's out of necessity, so I don't exactly I'm not why are they doing this? I understand why they're doing it.
Well, let us know why they're doing it. Is it because King is not 100%?
Yeah, he literally can't throw.
He's 45%.
Then why?
He can't throw. His throwing arm is injured.
Then why play him at all?
Because he can run. So, I put out a preview for the Georgia game. I'm not a fan of it for Georgia because when Haynes King comes in, 80% of the playbook's out. It's either going to be read option, a run, or a screen.
Right. So you're tipping off the defense there. If they know he's not going to throw it, then then they don't have to worry about him throwing it.
I get it though. You know, you don't want to like throw the true freshman in there with with all the weight on his shoulders and everything.
He has risen to the occasion, though. Like every time
Really
Philo
has.
comes in, I mean, he's the highest rated freshman, I think, last week that played.
I don't know. It's between him and Lenore Sellers.
Okay, he's in that category then, as far as how he's playing.
Yeah,
because Sellers has been kind of on a 5-game hot streak, which is something that we'll get into, but it doesn't bode well for the Tater Man.
Yeah. Well, so you're all in on Philo. Do you think there's still now? I saw that that Brent Key said, we're not letting you know whether or not we're playing 2 quarterbacks. I don't. I assume they're going to, but
I don't think so.
You don't. But you don't. Okay, you don't think so. You think it's just going to be the Philo show?
If I had to get, I mean, it could be that Philo gets the start. If I had to guess, though, I'd probably think it's just more of the same.
Well, I think they'll both play, but my thing is, if NC State shut our offense down doing that, NC State's not a good team. That game would have gone that way.
They're not good.
And if NC State can shut that down, Georgia's got the 15th ranked total defense, and there's probably not a player on NC State's defense that would start for Georgia. Like, that's not going to work against Georgia. You're going to have to do something else.
I can see.
That was my takeaway.
I can see bringing in King on a goal-to-go situation for a quarterback sneak or a quarterback run or something. Yeah, but
it'll be situational, but it won't be a true 2-quarterback system. I don't think.
Hey Pete, can you switch me out?
Switch you out.
Yeah, in the StreamYard.
Yes. Hold on.
Thanks. Preach.
Is that better?
Yeah, thanks.
You just say preach?
Preach.
That's some millennial shit there.
I've been hanging out with my Zoomer shit.
You've been hanging out with B-Dog too much, I think.
My little brother, yeah.
As a millennial, I disavow that shit.
Preach. All right. So anyway, a huge win, and also a huge win for Pete because I bet on Georgia Tech. Live bet them on the money line to win that game. So thank you for that.
Well, good you took him on the money line, or you would have lost money.
It was,
Said good thing you took him on the money line, or you would have lost.
Yeah. Wake Forest at Miami. Miami has a habit of letting teams hang around for the first 2 or 3 quarters, and then they open it up in the fourth quarter. I don't think that's going to be a winning formula against Syracuse on the road. But anyway, they won 42-14. So they covered. They were favored by 24. They covered that and more, and they had a huge fourth quarter. Cam Ward with 280 yards. What do you think about this game, Slim?
Well, considering how the defense has played, I had to give them their flowers for that game. They didn't allow 200 yards of offense. They only allowed Wake Forest to complete 1 pass in the second half.
Wasn't one of their scores like a special teams
one of their scores. Yeah, they only gave up 1 defensive touchdown. The other one was a kick return.
I watched half.
And sure, it stayed close for the first half, but that was also kind of a fluky thing. Like, sure, Cam Ward throwing a pick, he's had a few, so whatever. But Restrepo fumbled the ball for a turnover, which is very uncharacteristic of him, and the only one this year.
What is all this talk I'm hearing from Miami fans about firing your wide receivers coach?
That complete fucking knucklehead Uncle Luke made a post on Twitter about how Kevin Beard is the worst wide receiver coach in Miami history. He's a fucking idiot.
Who, Uncle Lou, you said?
No, Uncle Luke.
Uncle Luke
Skywalker from 2 Live Crew.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Uncle Lou. I was like, what? No, but didn't our boy Coach Coop make a video about it as well?
He did.
Oh, he did, because Miami Twitter blew up about it, about just how god awful of a take that is.
Okay. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, wide receivers are not your problem.
No, not even by your defense is the problem.
His whole argument is, well, if you look at the bottom of the depth chart as far as wide receivers go, he thinks some of them should get more play time, more catches. But I mean, that's also. I mean, listen, that's also like you actually had knuckle draggers make the argument that because in the fourth quarter when Jordan Lyle got into the game that he averaged 17 yards a carry, that he should be the starting running back for Miami.
Man, there's a lot of dumb Miami fans.
Boy.
There's dumb fans of every team.
Oh my God. You can go back and watch the video I made after the Clemson spring game. Cade Klubnik didn't play well in the spring game. The third string quarterback, Pearman, had 2 touchdowns. They were calling for Dabo to either be fired if he doesn't put in Pearman as the starting quarterback in 2024. I mean, this is the level of idiocy we're looking at here. So, yeah, they're everywhere.
Meanwhile, Miami leads the country. Like Miami statistically has the best wide receiver core in the country, and it's not even particularly close.
You don't think Ohio State's close?
They've got a couple of guys, but when it comes to, 5 wide receivers with X amount of catches and X amount of yards, Miami leads it all.
I'd probably take Miami. Like Restrepo is just a guy that comes down with the ball when you need to play.
I would say
every time.
Okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I think Ohio State's got a better wide receiver core all around. But I think Miami's wide receiver core has been more productive, but they have a better quarterback than Ohio State does. And they played some better teams than Miami has, too. That's not Miami's fault, but it's just a fact.
Yeah. Now I do think, like somebody like Jeremiah Smith is probably you take him, he's more talented than any single wide receiver for Miami. But I think as a whole, definitely Miami's outperformed them.
I think Restrepo, if outside of Clemson, because otherwise I'd be called a Clemson homer if I pick a Clemson wide receiver. Restrepo is my favorite wide receiver in all of college football this year.
Yeah. There's not a team he wouldn't start for and be productive.
Yeah, well, he's going to start in the NFL too. He's a Sunday guy. For sure.
Now, you want to talk about a clutch receiver? There is no better in college football than Xavier Restrepo.
I think I would agree.
That dude's on his back catching balls.
Yeah, he's a real deal. I like that guy.
I like his name, too, Xavier. That just sounds like a warrior. Sounds like something.
That's another guy that kind of kills the narrative of you have to have the highest blue chip ratio. That's a 3-star guy out of inner city Miami.
Now, you got to have those to be successful in college football. I mean, you got to get production out of these 3-star guys, and that's part of it.
He'll probably be the reason that I think that Miami does win the ACC. Anything can happen. Syracuse could upset Miami, and they, and knock them out of the ACC. But I think when it comes down to it, Miami will win the ACC. I think they'll beat Syracuse, and I think they'll beat SMU. And when that happens, I think a big part of that is going to be Xavier Restrepo, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, you're talking a guy that's come in and in the same amount of time in 4 years has shattered the record set by Hall of Famers.
Yeah. Well, anyway, they took care of business 42-14. Big game this week against Syracuse. SMU at Virginia. This was an absolute beatdown. Virginia again scored, I think, late in the game. They were getting shut out. This game was never competitive from the word go. SMU punches their ticket into the ACC championship against either Miami or Clemson. Citadel at Clemson. This game was over from the word go. I mean, it's the Citadel. What are we looking at here? The only thing I will highlight from this game is that we finally got to see some other running backs other than Phil Maffa. And Jay Haynes had a big day, something like 5 carries for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns. I'm really curious to see if they're going to play him more during South Carolina for a lot of reasons. First of all, Maffa's been banged up because he's been carrying the load quite literally the entire season at running back for Clemson. And Jay is a different type of runner. He's more of an elusive runner. He's got more speed. He's a guy that can get on the outside. And this also, he's got fresh legs. He hadn't played all year. So we might need him to beat South Carolina. I'll be interested to see if they put some play calls in there for him to see what he's really about.
Now, not a good look for your defense, though. Didn't they give up like 200-something yards rushing to Citadel?
They did, yes. But I'm not. Are you surprised about that?
A little, yeah.
I'm not. They've been doing it every week to everybody they play. So that's
but it's Citadel.
I know, but it's an option team. That's the excuse they're using. Option team's going to get a lot of yards. I said, okay, well, that's great, except for the fact that the Citadel had their highest rushing game of the season. So every FCS team they've played this year has held them to less rushing yards than Clemson did.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Can we also talk about, is Dabo turning a new leaf and he's now trying to copy things Georgia Tech's doing?
I don't know. What do you mean by that?
Well, he had a press conference today, I think, where he's like, "Hey, we're changing things, and we're gonna have as much money as anyone in college football to do what we need to do and be successful."
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds good, but it's just not true.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Like, I'm not, even if they tried, I'm not sure if Clemson's alumni base would be able to muster the amount of money the Tennessees and the Ohio States and others are throwing around.
Well, I think what he's referring to is the new revenue sharing deal.
Yes.
And so what he, according to him, is that they basically agreed that the vast majority of that money is going to the football team and not the other sports. So.
Well, that legally they can't do that.
Well,
what do other schools do, though? You say that. I imagine other schools are doing something like that. I mean,
well, see, that's the whole problem that nobody's addressed with this thing is by federal law, they have to give anybody at the university on the athletic scholarship the exact same amount. You cannot, by law, you can't do more for one than another.
no.
I get that, but I don't know how that necessarily legally applies with NIL because it's not technically coming from the school.
Revenue sharing is not NIL. That's coming from the university. That's coming out of the money. Well, and it's supposed to, but we've all seen this quote unquote talent fee. It's supposed to be coming out of the money from these TV revenue deals.
Right, but it's just, and none of it's very clear. It's like I just have a feeling that it sidesteps that somehow. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't pretend to know the ins and outs of all that, but I don't think that Dabo Swinney is just talking out the side of his mouth. I think he's definitely looked at the numbers and how it's going to work. Now, as far as what he says, as far we're going to have more money than anybody else, that's a bunch of bullshit there.
Well, they're not broke. They're going to have money. I mean, I think the point being is that he's getting his head handed to him a little bit in recruiting, and like it's not even me trying to dunk on you, but Georgia Tech starts flipping recruits, and then you probably got to do something different.
Oh, but hey, don't worry though. They watched the PigskinPeete videos saying that they needed to, they kicked the bucket by not signing a quarterback. Well, they signed one, or they got a commit from one today. Do you see that?
Oh, are people coping?
Yeah, a 3-star. Whee!
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
but. And also Dabo, he was talking about this recruiting class, and he said we're right where we want to be. The whole coach speak deal, saying we're only losing one offensive lineman, one running back, and so we're right where we want to be on offense. We don't need to sign 24 guys like we do every year. We're only going to sign 13, and you're going to like it, and we're going to be fine. Don't worry.
You don't use the portal though, so that's even dumber to say.
Well. Don't even get me started on that.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you can't say, hey, we're right where we want to be in recruiting, not signing as many recruits as you need to. I mean, you're not going to. The other thing is you're going to have 105 scholarship players now. So, like, everything makes that issue worse.
Well, when he says we're right where we want to be as far as recruiting, he's lying because you've lost 4 top 100 recruits in the past 60 days. So are you telling me you didn't? Are you telling me you didn't want those guys? Of course you did.
That's something I would say. Like, you know what, dude? We probably rescinded the offer anyways. F that guy. We didn't need him. Like, this is the common cope.
Well, I understand why he's saying what he's saying. I just don't agree with it. But I do think that I think this might be the year. I think this might be the year that he actually does go in the portal and get somebody who's not a third string player or a former Clemson graduate that transferred back to Clemson.
Oh, he would take them back if they left.
Yeah, he's done that. He did that. Hunter Johnson was a third string quarterback, transferred out, went to Northwestern, and then graduated from Northwestern and transferred back to Clemson again to be the backup there.
Okay.
Yeah, and he got Bear Bryant, Paul Tyson, Bear Bryant's grandson. He went and got him. He never played a single snap a meaningful snap anyway. So.
Jeez.
Yeah, Jesus, right. North Carolina at Boston College. Boston College, this is what got Mac Brown fired, apparently. 41-21. Boston College just absolutely destroyed North Carolina.
Yeah, I'm uploading a video on that as we speak. North Carolina can't do anything right. They can't even get rid of their Hall of Fame coach right. Like, if you were going to fire the guy, just accept his resignation after JMU. Like, this looks awful.
Yeah, I don't get the point of doing it right before the last game of the season.
Yeah, you're bowl eligible. Does it matter if you let him finish the season or
Well, they're
not?
going to let him. He's still going to coach.
Well,
this
and
week.
To your point, Reg, they make that announcement, and then later in the day, lo and behold, a 4-star recruit decommits.
Yep.
Well, I understand why they did it before the season ended, because they're already starting to put their feelers out to try to fill that spot, as soon as possible.
Yeah, but they could have been way ahead of the curve had they done this after JMU.
Well, I agree with you. I agree with you there.
Well, they are the first. Are they not the first in the cycle right now? I think they are.
Power 4?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. You're probably right.
Yeah, in the Power 4, yeah, I think you're right.
I wonder who they'll wind up hiring. I think Shane Beamer is a dumb. No, stop.
Why
the hell would he go there?
He wouldn't. They don't have as much money as South Carolina does to pay him.
That's a dumb pick.
Yeah, it's not happening.
We go to a worse situation.
Exactly.
Yeah. But like I said earlier in the show, I think Manny Diaz is a great. They should go poach him from Duke.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he would make their defense better.
Probably make their whole team better.
Yeah.
The funniest one I saw was Jeff Collins get promoted to head coach.
Oh God, please! No, it would actually piss me off if they did that and we didn't get to play them anymore, because we're not playing them anymore.
Jeff Collins,
just 4 years.
If they hire Jeff Collins, they just don't care about football.
Yeah. They wouldn't do that. It'd be funny, but they're not going to do that.
If we hire Jeff Collins, his buyout's like $2 million as a coordinator.
Man,
it's insane.
I don't understand how he keeps getting away with it.
Dude, whoever his agent is, if you need to get paid, call that guy.
I would, there's a short list. Manny Diaz would be at the top of it. Obviously, somebody like Signetti at Indiana. Make him tell you no. He'll probably tell you no because he just got paid a boatload of money to stay at Indiana. But third on that list, the coach of Tulane. Yeah, it's probably going to be a group of 5 guy, if I had to guess.
What's his? Because it's his first year there, right?
It's first or second.
Well, no. Well, Willie Fritz. They gave us hell for not hiring Willie Fritz. Willie Fritz was the coach at Tulane, and then Willie Fritz went to Houston.
Yeah.
But I mean, What about our favorite guy, Dave Clawson?
Hire a 4-win Wake coach.
I think that Wake is and Dave Clawson are underrated. I know he's
Dave Clawson's underrated. You're right, though. That would be an upgrade. I mean, he would have more money and more resources and be able to recruit better at North Carolina than he does at Wake Forest. So he probably could do a better job there.
I think he does as good of a job as you can do at Wake Forest.
Yeah, I agree with that.
There's just going to be years where you're down at Wake Forest.
Momo says the SMU offensive coordinator.
Is that Rhett Lashley? Didn't he come from Miami? No?
Yeah.
Or no, that's
the
the
SMU. Yeah, I'm about to say he's the head coach there.
Okay.
What about Buster? Hey, I didn't want to break this to you like live, but there's a very real possibility he gets hired this offseason.
By who?
I'll tell you later.
Oh, man.
Uh-oh.
The only person I can see, I know that he doesn't, I know that Buster doesn't care that much about Georgia Tech, but I do think he cares about Georgia, like the state of Georgia and being in Georgia. Like I don't really see him leaving. It could just be, I could be wrong, but
no, it's not what I'm hearing. Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, while I don't agree with what Josh Peete said about North Carolina being some sort of destination school for a lot of coaches, and we just don't know because we're not in the circle that he's in, I guess. I do think it's one of the better jobs in the ACC.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think he might just be saying it's underrated from like a national perspective, because I could see that.
Well, that's true.
Like the average college football fan, like, which is probably like an SEC fan, he probably they probably think like North Carolina is a shitty job or something. You know?
Yeah, it's definitely not. They have the money. They do actually care about football. I mean, otherwise they wouldn't have got Mac Brown. And they've been somewhat competitive in recent. Unlike a lot of these other teams, they've been somewhat competitive in the ACC in the past decade.
Well, so Mac Brown is 44-32 through 6 years. You know what Larry Fedora was through the same time period?
What?
43-34.
Damn.
Yeah.
So he's really no better than Larry Fedora.
Wow.
And they were an onside kick away from winning the ACC and knocking Clemson out of the playoffs.
Yep, 1980. They're the new 1980.
The new 1980.
Yeah, that was the last time they won the ACC.
Anyway, it'll be interesting to see.
Notre Dame's the new 1980. Hashtag 1988.
Pathetic.
Well, I got to hop off. I agreed to do a damn Georgia channel thing, and so I'm going to have to give them the old right there, Fred.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, Rick.
All right, appreciate it.
Yeah, you say pathetic?
Pathetic. You are pathetic.
A shout out to Florida State. Big win over Charleston Southern, 41-7. That was an absolute beatdown.
Dude, they crushed the Rock and everything. They are hyped about that shit.
I don't know where they found this Russian quarterback, but they're all in on him. What do you think about the Russian quarterback, Momo? Is he good?
Russian?
I don't know if he's right. I mean, his name looks Russian to me. I don't speak Russian, but he's from somewhere over there, Eastern European. It might be Slavic.
Krummenhook?
Hawk Tua. I don't know.
Yeah, it's Krummenhoek. Yeah.
I thought that sounded Native American.
Have you seen him? He's so white. He's clear.
Well, that's Florida State's thing.
Native American. What are you talking about?
That's Florida State's thing is white boys pretending to be a Native
American. So white Tonto. Thank you, Big Dog Brett, for the super chat. Sea-Dog loves Georgia. It's the one game that matters to Tech. They'd take a 1-11 season with a win over the Dogs. What do you think about that?
He's not wrong.
Oh, man. You just confirmed that?
I hate those sumbitches.
Oh, my God. You take a 1-11 season as long as you beat Georgia.
So you would take Jeff Collins back if he beat Georgia every year? The fact that you even have to think about it is astonishing.
Probably not.
All right, so he's not Russian. I've heard. So he's from Finland. Somebody says he's from the Netherlands. I told you somewhere Eastern Europe. I knew it. Anyway, they're all in on this guy.
We're working our way very quickly to that Eastern Soviet bloc.
He's like a 5-star. He was a 5-star, right? And
I have no idea who. I have nothing. I know nothing about him at all.
I'm pretty sure he's like the hot shot 5-star like true freshman.
I do know, according to ESPN, the site that I'm looking at right now, that the quarterback for Charleston Southern had more passing yards than the Russian guy, though. That's not good.
No.
Stanford at Cal, nobody cares. Cal did win though, 24-21. Pittsburgh at Louisville. Louisville put an absolute beat down. What happened to Pittsburgh, man? They're on a 4-game losing streak now. 4 games losing streak.
The fall off of Pittsburgh is unbelievable.
Ah, damn.
Yeah, that's rough.
Started with SMU. SMU blew them out, and then the wheels fell off.
Yeah. SMU broke them, I guess.
I guess so.
I'm sick at what SMU's done to our conference. It's just not right.
Virginia Tech at Duke. Duke with another win. Handy Manny, Malik Murphy with 332 yards passing. Handy Manny quietly having an amazing season in his first year at Duke.
I was saying this earlier. They have Wake Forest next week. They're going to finish 9-3.
Yeah. We had them winning 4 games, I think.
Yeah.
Boy. Well, boy, were we wrong. Which is rare on here. We're almost always right.
Yeah. There's always one egg that we lay.
Yeah, that was one of them.
When it comes
we laid an egg on Duke. We laid an egg on SMU.
Yeah.
Everybody else we've been pretty close on, I think.
Accurate about everything else. I was high on Pitt, and they turned out to be better than, Well, they were horrible last year. And then this year they were pretty good, but then they had the fall off. I don't know.
All this talk about Garrett Riley going to North Carolina, I don't understand that. Now, admittedly, I don't want to lose Garrett Riley. I'm not one of these Clemson fans that's ready to throw him to the dogs for some reason. I don't understand where that's coming from, but I don't think he's proven enough as a coordinator to get a head coaching job in the Power 4. I was just about to
say that.
Maybe one day, but not now. No.
Yeah.
I mean, from Mac Brown to Garrett Riley. I mean, let's pump the brakes here a little bit. I'm going to skip right over Stanford and San Jose State. We're moving on to this week 14. Georgia Tech at Georgia. A Friday night, a Black Friday special in Athens.
We're going to...
What? This has got to be a typo.
What?
Tickets as low as $4,352?
I saw that.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I saw that.
That can't be right. I think you can get a ticket for like $200 at least.
Yeah.
ESPN's tripping.
I saw that too.
I believe last night on the Lunch Money Show, believe it or not, Uncle Lou picked Georgia Tech to cover the spread.
Well, Georgia doesn't cover spreads. So.
Listen, don't listen to that. That's Uncle Lou spreading around rat poison.
Yeah, it's got to be a typo. There's no way it's $4,000. I mean, you can go to the Super Bowl for less than that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, well, I know where you stand on this. Slim, is there any chance possible that Georgia Tech pulls the upset here and knocks Georgia? Well, I guess it wouldn't knock Georgia out of the playoffs because they still get to go to the SEC championship. If they win that, they're in.
Yeah, they'd have to lose out to get out of the playoff. But at the same time, if they beat us and then lose the SEC championship, they'll still get in. So in order to miss the playoffs, they got to lose out.
They got to lose they got to lose to Tech and then lose the SEC championship game. Yeah.
I don't know. 3-loss Georgia may be out of it.
Well, the committee has said that they won't hold losses in the championship game against teams.
Sure, they say that.
If you believe
I guarantee there are exceptions.
Hold on.
Yeah.
What you just said that the committee said that they won't hold a loss in the championship game against teams?
That's right.
When did they say that? I don't believe they said that.
As opposed to putting in a team who didn't go to the conference championship. You know what I mean? Like they wouldn't put in, for example, Tennessee over Georgia because Tennessee didn't play and they don't have that extra loss. You know what I'm saying?
I don't believe that.
Well,
so if Miami, so if Clemson beat South Carolina, finished 10-2 with a win over a top 15 South Carolina to end the season, Miami lost to SMU. You think they would put Miami in ahead of Clemson?
I think they're both in.
So you think there'll be 3 teams in?
Oh, I think that's the exact scenario you need to get 3 ACC teams in.
Yeah. Well, it's the only scenario that would make sense.
We all know that some helmets, some logos on the side of helmets carry more weight than others. We all know that.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not buying the thing where so according to you, what they're saying is everybody who plays in a conference championship is getting in.
not necessarily that, just that they won't hold it against you.
Then that's I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's the committee. That's what they said. So
all right, I need to see a transcript and a video of that.
Listen, the only consistent thing about the committee is their inconsistency.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the past they've definitely held it against teams by losing, but that was it with the 4-team playoff. But I don't know.
They've also put teams in a 4-team playoff that lost their conference title game 3 times, as a matter of fact.
They've also put teams in that didn't even play in their conference championship game.
They did twice.
Yeah. South Carolina at Clemson. This is one of the biggest games of the week. Whether people like it or not, just a fact. We'll see where
Did they were going?
Huh?
Did game day say where they were going?
Yeah, they're going to Texas A&M.
Texas A&M, yeah.
They announced that. They announced they were going to A&M before the A&M even lost the game last week.
Yeah.
So they already had their mind made up.
Yeah. And it has big implications.
Well, listen, I get it. Texas and Texas A&M haven't played each other in a dozen years.
Yeah, this is a big.
Yeah, they played each other in a dozen years. The winner of that game goes to play Georgia in Atlanta. So I get it, but this game right here has just as big as implications as that does, from a playoff perspective, anyway.
Well, yeah, but we also know Dabo's being punished for refusing to take that Black Friday game.
Well, he definitely is. He said so much, too. Well, he kind of jokingly said it. He said, I think they're punishing me for refusing to take the game on Friday, which I think they are, because there's no reason why Clemson and South Carolina should be at noon and Florida State should be at prime time. That's just silly. But I'm not mad at it either way. I don't really care where game day is, certainly. I don't care about that, but you guys know where I stand on this. I'm not going to say it out loud because it's hate week. But you know where I stand on this. But Clemson is favored somehow. They're favored by 2.5 points in this game. So I'll leave it up to you guys.
During the midday show, we were talking about, I said I think the stage, all the pressure got to Indiana against Ohio State. That very same thing may happen with this South Carolina team, especially when you have a true freshman in Lenore Sellers at quarterback.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was a true freshman.
I think
he finally got some contacts.
Well, I think he's a redshirt freshman, but.
Oh, did you hear Quinn Ewers has a torn labia. He is not expected to play.
A torn labia?
Yeah.
I didn't. Does Texas have a gynecologist on staff?
I sure hope so. I mean, listen, if they're inclusive, they will.
Oh, well, that's true. Yeah. I didn't think about that. Yeah. Every football team needs a gynecologist on staff right now, I think. You're right.
Absolutely.
Before I move on about this game, I brought this up. If Clemson wins against South Carolina, do they want Miami to win or lose? I'm being serious here, because if Clemson wins, I think they're probably still going to finish in the top 12 in the final rankings, no matter what happens. If they win and Miami loses, then they go to the ACC championship with a chance to lose and get knocked out of the top 12. Am I crazy for thinking that?
I do think Clemson's best scenario is probably not even playing in it, but I think you would need some style points. I think you would need to win by at least 14. 21 would be real nice.
I just think they need to win. But it's interesting because they play at 12 and then Miami and Syracuse play at 3:30. So we'll know the outcome of the Clemson-South Carolina game. So we'll have an idea what to root for as far as Miami versus Syracuse. I mean, if Clemson wins this game and Miami wins theirs, I'm not going to be mad at it. If Clemson loses this game, I'm going to be pulling hard for the fruit. Mm-hmm. Because that will keep Clemson alive in the playoff picture and the ACC picture. But
hey, listen, there's a nightmare scenario here too for some people. And since I know we have some SEC fans in the chat, if Texas A&M wins the SEC, they may only get one team then.
No.
Yes. Now, hear me out. If Texas A&M beats Texas A&M beats Georgia, Vanderbilt beats Tennessee, Auburn beats Alabama.
I mean, there's a lot of ifs here.
Hey, listen, I'm all about chaos. I am rooting for underdogs. And I would just love to see people absolutely twisting in the wind.
It really is funny that me and Vanderbilt and Georgia Tech are kind of in the same situation here with our big in-state rivals.
Like, would you be terribly surprised if Vanderbilt beat Tennessee? Tennessee's not some juggernaut.
No, I wouldn't be terribly surprised, no.
I wouldn't be surprised if A&M beats Texas.
I'm actually picking A&M to beat Texas.
Uh-oh. That's spicy.
I mean, if Texas loses, they don't belong in the playoffs.
If they lose, they won't get in the playoffs.
They don't belong. I mean, who's their win? I mean, they would have lost to the two best teams on their schedule.
Well, they got
now their best two wins are Vanderbilt and Arkansas.
Yeah, and they didn't just lose to Georgia; they got destroyed at home.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. I think this is a playoff game for Texas and obviously for Texas A&M. There's a bunch of quasi playoff games this week. Louisville at Kentucky. Louisville's favored. The only and I think
D4 just texted me.
Who did? D4?
D4.
What did he say?
Hey, but he said, keep Texas out your mouth, buddy. Love you. Hey, shout out to you, D4.
Yeah, shout out to D4. I haven't heard from him in a while. I hope he's doing okay.
Look, if Texas wins, hook them all the way, baby. Hook them all the way in the SEC championship.
D4, if you're listening, love you, buddy. I hope you're doing okay. Louisville at Kentucky. Louisville's favored in this game, but Louisville's been the better team several times and still lost to Kentucky. This game's in Kentucky. My brain tells me that Louisville's a much better team than Kentucky. Kentucky's one of these teams that looked decent the first few games of the season, but they've completely fallen off the map. But
yeah, I'm picking.
I agree. I'm picking freaking Kentucky until further notice.
Yeah.
Louisville just cannot beat them.
Yeah. It's kind of like Virginia Tech and Virginia.
Yeah.
Well, I agree with that, but Kentucky's offense is god awful.
They are bad.
They just benched.
They benched Vandergriff. Yeah, so they're starting, I think, a true freshman quarterback.
Yeah, like even if you look at the teams, they played tough. They beat Ole Miss. They played Georgia tough. They couldn't put up points. Those were very low-scoring games.
Yeah, they got beat by South Carolina early in the year. That was a close game. But yeah, they're not good. So I hope Louisville pulls it off for the ACC, but I'm not counting on it until I see it. You know what I mean? Duke and Wake Forest. Does anybody care about that? Duke should win that, and like we mentioned earlier, Duke with a 9-win season in Manny Diaz's inaugural season. I mean, is anybody picking Wake Forest to win this game? They're not good.
Dude, who would have thought Handy Manny comes in year one, and if he wins his bowl game, he'll be the winningest coach in Duke history. Nobody's ever won. Well, I take that back. David Cutcliffe won 10 games one time, so he'll match it.
Yeah. That's pretty unbelievable. Another reason why North Carolina should back up the Brinks truck to get him, steal him out of their rival's backyard. Pitt at Boston College. This is on the CW network. Tickets as low as $4. Let's move on from that. I'm picking Boston College to win that. Pittsburgh just, I don't know what happened to them. I don't know.
Start on a 6-game win streak, end on a 6-game lose streak.
Man. No way.
That's tough.
That's really tough. We talked about this ad nauseum already. Miami at Syracuse at 3:30. Huge game for Miami. Also a huge game for Syracuse in the fact that they've got a brand new head coach in Fran Brown, Fran Clown, as we call him. But they're 8-3.
Kyle McCord actually has more passing yards than Cam Ward on the season.
Yeah, Kyle McCord playing good. Syracuse quietly winning 8 games with nobody really paying attention. It's because they've had some terrible losses. Syracuse has.
They have.
They're not
You let
consistent.
Stanford come in your house and beat you.
Yeah. How did that happen? But another team, again, just like Duke, with a new head coach. How many games did Syracuse win last year? 3? 4, maybe? What was Syracuse record last year?
I think they were 5-7. I remember
5-7.
We were battling for the bowl.
If they were to upset Miami and then win their bowl game, that's a 10-win season for the Fruit.
Man.
That's unbelievable.
They're not beating Miami, though.
No, probably not. Probably not. But they have nothing to lose here. Miami has everything to lose, so that'll be an interesting game there. Cal at SMU. SMU, this is in Dallas. I mean, they've already punched their ticket to the ACC championship game, so I guess maybe Cal could give them a game if they try to rest some of their players for the ACC championship. I don't know what their strategy is going to be here, but if they're full force, I expect them to blow Cal out. Does anybody disagree with that?
Actually, it wouldn't surprise me if that's a close game. Look at the way SMU's played people all year.
Yeah. NC State at North Carolina, the final game for Mac. Well, no, I guess not the final. I don't know if he's going to coach the bowl game or not. Probably not, if I had to guess.
Are they already bowl eligible?
I think they're 6-5, yeah.
Okay.
So they're going bowling, but anyway, NC State's a massive failure, and pathetic too. And
No, you know what's even more pathetic?
what?
Is Tennessee fans trying to count that as a ranked win.
Hey. You chill out on ring wins because that gives us 2 top 10 wins.
Hey, y'all remember before the season started on the ACC show, there was a bunch of people, mostly SEC people in the chat, saying it was going to be NC State and Virginia Tech in the ACC championship game. Boy, holy shit. Dave Dorn's a massive failure. I don't know. Maybe if NC State beats North Carolina, he can upgrade and get a job at North Carolina. I don't know.
Ugh.
Oh, that would be actually fucking hilarious.
That would be. Yeah.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Despite the fact that North Carolina just fired their coach and they're down real bad, they're still going to beat the shit out of NC State and Dave Dorn, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
I don't know, man. I think they're going to be disappointed.
You think NC State's going to win this game?
Yeah, because they fired Mac Brown. I think that shuts the team down right there.
Oh, come on. You don't think they're going to win one for the Gipper?
Nah.
Come on, man.
Now, I think what you have a higher likelihood of is Mac Brown actually giving birth on the sidelines. Hence why college football teams need gynecologists on staff.
I got no comment on that. Florida at Florida State. Oh my God! You got one of the second best team in Florida going against the worst team in Florida.
Florida is going to be 7-5. Pretty impressive with their schedule.
Now, see, here's the thing. I just want this for troll reasons because I don't really care. But I mean, most of the Florida fan base is now on board with keeping Billy. How quick will that reverse course if they lose this game?
Yeah, if they lose to Florida State, even shit.
They won't.
He's going to need a personal bodyguard to get out of Tallahassee.
It's not happening.
I know, but you know what? It would be hilarious if it did.
Now, Wahoo Brad with the conspiracy theories.
Chaos, sir.
Listen to Wahoo Brad. This is 4D chess by Brad here. Florida State beats Florida. They reverse what they said. They fire Billy Napier. North Carolina hires Billy Napier.
Nice.
Damn.
That would be nice.
Hey, add that to my chaos of Vandy beating Tennessee and Auburn beating Alabama and A&M beating Texas. You're going to have to start taking shoelaces away from some of these SEC fans in the chat.
If Florida State were to beat Florida, that might be even funnier than NIU beating Notre Dame.
That's how.
Oh yeah, because I mean, NIU's bad even in their own conference
NIU's a better team than Florida State.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, how did Cal lose to Florida State? I'm being serious.
That's like saying, how are we in a having to come back from 25 points down?
Yeah, well, that too. Yeah. Last but not least, what's the name? What do they call this game, Brad? What's the nickname for the Virginia versus Virginia Tech game? I know what it is, and I can't think of it. Do you guys know what it is?
The Commonwealth something.
Not off the top of my head, I can't think.
Commonwealth Cup. Thank you. You're right.
Yeah.
So the Commonwealth Cup. Every fiber in my being wants Virginia to win this game.
Yeah.
But much like Louisville and Kentucky, I need to see it to believe it.
Are they bowl eligible yet?
Well, Virginia let me down last week, so
is
I was on the
Virginia
Virginia hype train.
They got 6 wins.
They're 5-6.
Oh no!
They're playing for a bowl win here.
Bad news.
A bowl berth, rather.
I mean, at least for them. I mean, Virginia Tech is on a backslide right now.
Yeah, both teams are 5-6, so they're both playing for a bowl game. So there is some meaning in this, even though it doesn't mean anything nationally or even in the ACC rankings. But both for bragging rights and for a bowl game. So you could put this at the top of the list of games that don't matter that I'm interested in watching. What time is that game, by the way?
I always watch this game.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know what time it is. I know some Miami fans are having a little voodoo because Syracuse is a 3:30. and the Georgia Tech game was 3:30.
It's an 8 o'clock game.
The Georgia Tech game was at noon.
Wasn't it noon?
Yeah.
Well, then they're even dumber than they are normally.
It's an 8 o'clock game on the ACC network. So Virginia and Virginia Tech get a primetime game. Clemson has to play at noon. Florida and Florida State get a primetime game. Clemson has to play at noon.
Well, to be fair, they put Florida State and Miami in prime time too.
Yeah. Well, that was week 1 though.
Anything.
That was back when we thought Florida might be worth a shit.
I think I picked Florida to win that game.
You probably did.
I think I did.
I think you picked every game against Miami.
No, I'm just saying I do pick them. So like,
Well, no. The Florida State Miami game was a prime time game.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, Florida State was 1-6 at that point.
Yeah. So the end of the game here. Anyway, go Who's. I'll be pulling for you.
Me too.
But I'm not confident in that pick though. So here the ranking show is about to come on. It's going to be interesting to see where some of these teams are that are on the bubble, like Clemson and South Carolina, respectively. And where also, how far will some of these teams fall that lost to unranked teams, or not only unranked teams, but teams with losing records last
Can you
week?
believe the AP put Alabama at 13? Like, what kind of horse shit is that?
Wow.
Yeah, so Alabama was 7. Let's do a prediction here. Where does Alabama fall in the CFP?
I think 16 or 17.
Yeah, I don't think they'll fall that far. I think they should. I'm going to say 14.
That is something we talk about how inconsistent the committee is. That's something they have been consistent about, is they punish the second loss more than the first. So it stands to reason they're going to punish the third loss more than the second.
And also in Alabama's situation in particular, it's not like they went on the road to Oklahoma and it went to overtime. They got destroyed from the word go. They didn't even score a touchdown. They should fall. They should fall outside of the top 15. Although I don't think that they will, for the same reason. What you were talking about earlier, as far as the playoff rankings, Slim, is the logo on your helmet. I think that carries a lot of weight in this too. So if they only fall to like 12 or something, there's going to be a complete meltdown in the fan base. Well, for other fans,
when you're stacking up losses, Dukes are better than Alabama's.
Yeah.
And it's not even particularly close.
Well, that also, should Duke be ranked tonight? I think they should be.
Absolutely. They should have been ranked last week.
Yeah, they should have been ranked last week.
And I firmly believe this. The only reason Missouri was ranked was to prop up Alabama. And I think the only reason Illinois was ranked was to prop up a couple of Big Ten teams.
Yeah, I don't know about propping them up, but here we go. Also, Fran Brown was crying about not being ranked. Does Syracuse get ranked tonight? Another 8-win team.
Probably not.
Probably not. Oh, they might.
I think they might. You can make a good argument that they should.
So the question is, how far does Alabama fall? How far does Ole Miss fall? How far does A&M fall? It doesn't really matter because they still control their own destiny in the SEC. But still, they have to fall some amount.
Dude, that game was great. I watched it.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing too. 4 overtimes.
It wasn't on my streaming service, so I couldn't watch it. I really wanted to.
What streaming service do you have where you didn't get to watch that? It was on the what was it, on the SEC network, I think?
It was on Hulu. I didn't have it. Usually I don't have a problem getting
it. Was on Hulu. Hulu's not a channel.
Well, I have live. I have the live or whatever.
I have Hulu Live too. I watched it.
I couldn't find it. I looked up.
Well, you weren't looking hard enough because I had the same service you have. It was on.
Well, shit. I would have loved to watch that game.
Might have been on I can't remember what channel it was on, but I watched it. So, are they going to drag this bullshit out again here?
Of course. They got to fill a half hour here, Pete.
All right, here we go. So, Colorado drops to 25, down 9 spots. They were 16 last week. 24, Kansas State. I think they were 24 last week. They didn't move at all. No.
I would have put Kansas at 25 just for the fuck of it.
Hold on. Illinois 23, Slim. There you go.
Yeah, it's fine.
So these are all 8-3 teams. Colorado, Kansas State, Illinois, all 8-3. UNLV 22. They moved up 2 spots at 9-2. And they are playing in the Mountain West Championship game against Boise State, are they not? I think they are.
I believe.
21, Missouri. Well, at 8-3, Missouri ahead of UNLV. Oh my God. Texas A&M falls 5 spots to 20. So we have a 20th ranked SEC team that could possibly win the SEC.
Yeah.
Still. 19 BYU. Back-to-back losses.
They were what, number 6 before?
Yeah, they went from 6 to 19 in a 2-week period.
Brutal.
Yeah, brutal.
That's all right. They can use their 7 wives to make them feel better.
I think 7 wives would make me feel worse, honestly. Iowa State, 18. They move up 4 spots. They are still in the running. Obviously, I think they're in the driver's seat. I'm pretty sure if Iowa State and Arizona State both win this weekend, they're the ones that play in the championship game. Tulane at 17 moved up 3 spots. They're still in the running. If Boise State loses this week and Tulane wins, and then they win their conference championship, they might be the team that gets into the playoffs ahead of Boise State. 16, Arizona State. They moved up 5 spots. They're on a hot streak right now. They've knocked off 2 top 10 teams in a row, haven't they? Or 2 top 15 teams in a row. Oh, my God. South Carolina at 15. I thought they were going to be at 14. But I'll take 15. If Clemson can beat them, that'll be a top 15 win. They moved up from 18 to 15. I think Clemson's going to be either 14 or 13. I think Alabama should be 14, Clemson 13, but they might flip-flop them. Ole Miss 14. Oh, God. Clemson's up in the top 13. So Ole Miss dropped from 9 to 14 with their loss to Florida. These next few are going to be interesting here because you got Alabama, you got Clemson. Who am I missing? Alabama 13.
That's the biggest crock of shit I've seen.
See?
Wow.
I told you 13 or 14 is what they would be at.
Wow. That's unbelievable.
I believe it.
I mean, it's believable, but wow.
Yeah, I believe it. Jesus Christ.
Jeez, man. They have some horrible losses.
I'm thinking Clemson's going to be 12 now. I can't see them being higher than 12. I'd be shocked if they were. Which is higher than I thought they would be. I thought they would be either 14 or 13. So, yeah, Clemson at 12. They moved up 5 spots with a win over Citadel.
Well, hell, I better move up like 9 spots with a win over Wake Forest then.
Well, it's just because...
Georgia Tech is receiving votes.
What, 1 vote?
2.
Oh, 2. All right.
Yeah.
So that really solidifies my opinion of if Clemson beats South Carolina, they get in the playoffs, because
Oh yeah.
there's no way they would drop out of the top 12 with a win over a top 15 team at the end of the season.
You know what this shows me? They're fixing to shove Ole Miss and Alabama right down people's throats if they win this week.
Yeah. Boise State at 11. Of course, they are the preemptive favorite to be the Group of 5 team that represents in the playoffs. They have to win. Well, they have to win this week and then win their conference championship game, and they have to hope that. Well, I guess that's all they have to do, right? Tulane needs them to lose. I'll see that guy on Twitter trying to tell me that 2 Group of 5 teams are going to get in ahead of the ACC champion.
Yeah, I saw
What the
that.
fuck? Yeah. He was trying to tell me that Boise State and Tulane, if they went out, might get in ahead of the ACC champion.
Interesting.
Yeah, not interesting. It's stupid as fuck. It's not happening.
Yeah, that's dumb as shit.
10 Indiana. So they dropped from what, 5? Yeah, they dropped from 5 to 10 with their loss to Ohio State. SMU at 9. That's the highest they've been all year.
Yeah.
Indiana makes sense because they lost to a top, 3 or 4 team?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's their only loss.
Yeah, I'm not mad at the end. I think that people are overreacting to the loss by Indiana, but just by dismissing them as a terrible team because they haven't played anybody and blah, blah, blah. I don't buy into that. I still think they're a very good team. I still think they're a top 10 team.
It was funny because the SEC fans were like, see, told you they were overrated, told you they don't belong. And then, of course, later in the day.
Tennessee at 8. Boy, Tennessee is going to make the playoffs. As long as they beat Vanderbilt.
Unless they lose to Vanderbilt, yeah.
Yeah, if they beat Vanderbilt, they're going to get in. Shout out to BVD. Who's going to be 7, y'all think?
They'll probably stiff Miami and stick them at 7.
Georgia. Oh my God! Now you got troll material, Slim. You got major.
Yes, I do.
You got major troll material. Georgia ranked behind Miami.
Well, I've already got a couple of recipients that come to mind on Twitter.
And there you go, 6 Miami.
Now, see, once again, the committee proving their inconsistency.
Yeah, the word committee and consistent are that they're polar opposites.
Like we go from 8 to 6, covering a 24-point spread, and then some.
So they basically just flip-flop. I mean, Georgia last week was ranked one spot ahead of Miami, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. Notre Dame 5. I can't disagree with that.
Yeah.
Well, last week they had a 2-loss Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama all above Miami.
Gungo
So at
wants to
least
know,
they
can
righted
Clemson's
that
offensive
song.
line hold up against South Carolina's defensive line? Probably not. No. We'll find out. But the flip side of that is can South Carolina's offensive line hold up against Clemson's defensive line? That's also a no. 4 Penn State, 3 Texas, 2 Ohio State, 1 Oregon. There you go. So not really a whole lot of shocking rankings in the top 10. Once you get between 10 and 15 is pretty interesting, though.
Well, they fixed some bullshit from last week. I'll give them that credit.
Most notably, Alabama being at 13. I think some people wanted them to fall further than that. That's right where I thought they were going to be 13 or 14. I'm actually.
I think everybody agrees that they should have fallen farther.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised where Clemson is at 12. I thought they would have been 13 or 14. So there it is. Still no Duke or Syracuse ranked.
Yeah, the disrespect is real.
The disrespect is real. What do they say? ESECPN? Yeah.
Or like one of my favorite Twitter trolls like to say, CTESPN.
Oh, he's the best follow on Twitter.
Oh yeah, if you're not following him on
Antonio
Twitter,
Brown
what are you doing with
is
your life?
he's the greatest poster on Twitter, period. Everything he posts is hilarious.
You know, he actually live streamed on Twitter that entire Tyson Paul fight.
No, I didn't see that.
Oh yeah, he had a live stream going to the whole damn thing.
Wow. All right. Well, I guess that's going to do it. We talked a little bit of ACC football, and we watched the rankings, and I don't really know if there's much else left to say.
Yeah.
No, just let the chips fall where they may this week. Give me some chaos.
Yeah.
And you know, I
Buckle up.
almost even want the chaos more now, just so we can see the level of fuckery that the committee's willing to go to.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. This weekend's going to be really fun. There's going to be some, I don't know who it's going to be. Obviously, nobody knows who it's going to be. There's going to be a couple of upsets like there was last week.
Oh yeah, there will be.
I mean, there's just too many out there for it not to happen. Somebody in one or two of these teams in the top 10 are going to lose. Mark it down, write it down, tattoo it on your forehead. But if you tattoo it on your forehead, make sure you tattoo it backwards so when you look in the mirror, it reads correctly. I'm saying it now. I'm predicting it.
I'm calling my shot with Texas.
There you go.
This is nice.
All right, gentlemen. Well, great show. Appreciate you coming on, Slim, like usual.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Have a good night.
Yes, sir. You too.
All right, Sea-Dog, brother. We did it again.
All right, man.
Obviously, I won't talk to you probably between now and next week, so have a great Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you too, man.
Are you doing it in your new house, or are you going somewhere else?
Thanksgiving, we always go to my aunt's house,
Okay.
and then and then the next day we're going to Tennessee, to see my wife's family, and then I'm coming back Friday night to stream the Georgia Tech game with Rec Talk.
Oh, yeah, over at Rec Talk's place.
Yeah, and then I'm going to BVD's funeral on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was on Friday.
There's a I think it's like a visitation or something.
Okay. So they're doing like the viewing on Friday and the funeral on Saturday?
Yeah, I think yeah.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it.
BVD.
I'm not going to be able to make it there, but
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Whoever you see from BVD's family, you give them my condolences and my love and everything. Yeah. I'd appreciate it if you do that.
For sure.
All right, man. Well, happy Thanksgiving and safe travels, I guess. You're doing a lot of traveling, so.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
All right, I'll see you.
All right, everybody, that's going to do it for me as well. Thank you for tuning into the ACC show. Everybody have a great Thanksgiving. If you don't see me between now and this weekend, I will be live at noon, or before noon, but at noon, for the 12 o'clock rivalry games, including Clemson in South Carolina. All right, everybody, have a great night.